Gnoti Seuton, love, peace, blessing, all manner of health, wealth, goodness, abundance, healing, happiness, joy, love, and more love, and more love. All manner of good and happiness upon you and your family. Gnoti Seuton, know yourself, know the truth about yourself, and that truth shall set you free. Something good is going to happen to you today. And today I wanted to talk about the 100 breaths blessing, and very, very powerful. One thing I was surprised about when I was studying Drunvalo Melchizedek's work is that he said that, we forgot how to breathe, that humanity has forgotten how to breathe. And the interesting thing was about that information was that we used to breathe from the top of our head. And of course, I was thinking literally and, trying to imagine, what, like a whale's blowhole. But that's where my mind went at first. But he's talking about the flow of energy, the energetic flow of the path that doesn't physically flow. Well, it's still physical because it's energy, but it doesn't flow through your spine. It's a different energy path that flows more in the front of your spine, and it goes through the chakras in the front. But anyway, when I heard that we forgot how to breathe, and for myself personally, living in central Pennsylvania in an area where they call Sinus Valley, having dealt with seasonal allergies in the past, which I got relief from naturally by simply taking a supplement, stinging nettle supplement, and a little bit of quercetin, and staying, fasting from milk products for a while. And that did it for me. I didn't have seasonal allergy problems ever since. That's been many years ago. But of course, I became a vegetarian after that, and did a couple different cleanses to get all the toxins out of my body. But anyway, with that being a background, having years of, dealing with that issue, I did notice that my breathing did change. Well, I guess I didn't notice that it changed, but I noticed that my breathing patterns weren't fully in and fully out. Fully in, expanding the belly, expanding the diaphragm from the belly up. So when you think of like a energetic pattern from the head down to the belly, inflating the belly, and then the chest, and then into the head, both the pressure, the interfecal pressure that creates on your sacral pump to actually move and cycle your cerebral spinal fluid is also incredibly healthy too. Something that doesn't happen naturally unless you hang upside down, which is, an old yogi practice, which is the practice that when someone asked Paul McCartney how he stayed young, everybody was surprised. He said, because years ago I learned to, stand on my head, which actually, cycles the lymph system, and very, very healthy. But that's what he says his secret is. So incredibly powerful. So anyway, being conscious of your breathing and everything that proper breathing does is going to increase your overall wellness and well-being, your awareness. It's just going to make your life better. Having extra oxygen in your blood, your mitochondria will be jumping for joy, which is your energy system. The mitochondria creates your energy. Extra oxygen, is like catnip, to a cat. Extra oxygen is like that to your mitochondria, which for those who don't know are a separate being. They're a separate species. They are not part of us. They don't have our DNA. Incredible. I mean, just very, very, magnificent when you think about the way that we're built. But anyway, so I started doing this 100 breath blessing, and it's just simply counting 100 breaths. And it's not labor breaths. It's not or anything like that. It's just one in and out. And then just notice it, did you go the whole way in? Did you go the whole way out? And of course, you don't necessarily want to hold the breath in between, or, stress to push the breath the whole way out. That's when you end up hyperventilating. But just, calm, relaxing, cleansing breaths. And sometimes the in may be longer than the out may be longer than the in. We're just coming to a comfortable rhythm. And that rhythm doesn't have to be the same every time. Because remember, there's so many different things going on inside your body. When the mitochondria, has, plenty of oxygen, which they rarely do, they're going to release the chemistry that just cascades through your body. Increase melatonin, which is going to increase serotonin. So you have a hormone, tuning that's going to happen in your body. Just a cascade of positive chemical reactions that happen through your body just by adding these extra breaths. And so it's normal for one time to your in breath to be maybe the count of 4, and one time to the count of 9, and one time to the count of 5, and you start feeling really, really good by just being aware of what the natural in-breath is and the natural out-breath is. And that doesn't have to be the same every time, because you're creating a repairing process throughout your body. You're creating new, healthy, and healing chemistry throughout your body. And so, of course, every time it's going to be different. I mean, that's, just the toxicity of, this chemical medicine that the mainstream practices today, that takes everybody, people who are on the lowest end of health and people who are on the highest end of health, and thinking that somewhere in the middle is healthy. Well, that's not healthy. It's actually a selling point for, pushing, their chemical product on people, and, for classifying people, in a mechanical, mathematical way, and making them think that that's normal, but it's not normal. Some people are taller than others. Some people are a little bit more round than others. We're all different. Some people were smokers, and those in-breaths, are going to repair any damage that was done by smoking, or, anyone like me who had, sinus issues. But what I found is that that's what happens first, is that when you reach a point where you are healthy within yourself, where you have, introduced enough oxygen inside yourself, that oxygen and that chemistry goes to the part of your body that needs healing first, and the part that needs it the most first. That's why some people, may feel, like a popping in their ears. They may feel, like a release, a release of pressure in their head, because you cycled, just like squeezing something, and you squeeze, like a baking piping bag, when you squeezed all of, the ingredients through. Sometimes, through in-breaths, that's what you do, because one thing that happens with injury is that, we become stiff. When you have an area of your body that has been hurt, and if you touch that place, it's going to cause more pain. The body begins to isolate that place so that you're not moving in that way, and so that you're not, creating that pain again. It's just a natural reflex. But in doing that, all of those muscles in a different area of the body have become like a fist. And because they're told, hey, hold this place, because we got pain over in the other place. If you let go, we're going to be in pain. And then what happens is all of those places that have been holding on, they start to be very, very stiff, and they become, overworked. And, people who sometimes, have an injury in the left side of their body, after that injury is healed, next thing they know, the pain has moved to the right side of the body. And that's why, because the right side has been compensating for the left side. And so it's the way our body works. It's the way energy works. Wherever there's energy out of balance, the universe supplies an excess of energy to restore balance. And that's where we miss it sometimes. So when we're doing the 100 breath blessing, all we're doing is just counting 100 breaths. And another powerful energetic blessing that counting your breaths does, because as you're keeping track of where you are, and and something I want to say too, if like anything interrupts the breath, like like I had to clear my throat, or a hiccup, a burp, everything else that the body does, all of those things, like say I was on 79, I will do a 79 breath again, because I want to have that same amount of oxygen going through the rest of the body. And again, I don't have any research or anything, I just found that works for me. But when you are concentrating on 100 breaths, it's what you're concentrating on is your breathing, and you're saying, oh wow, I didn't recognize that because I was hunched over, I wasn't bringing in the breath completely into the top of my lungs, or completely inflating my diaphragm. And then you have an awareness of, oh wow, I'm going to breathe that way. And then you have awareness where, hey, I'm going to walk straighter. I'm going to keep my posture straighter. Because you notice that the only reason you weren't taking those deep cleansing breaths was because, you were leaning forward. And that's what stress does to us. Stress makes us smaller. I mean, we slowly start to, just shrink closer to the ground, because the crown chakra is reduced down to the root chakra. Everything starts to shrink and go lower, because when we're living in survival, we're staying in the root chakra because we're trying to simply survive. But as we breathe deeper, we make a connection from our crown. We connect to creativity through the crown. We allow that creative energy to flow down and to renourish and to restore everything in between the crown chakra and the root chakra. We start to be straighter. We regain our posture, and we regain our health. We regain health that we may have lost or that we may have forgot about, just through all types of habits. Stress being one of the worst, that causes us to have physical habits that are caused by stress. And by restoring that breath, and also by paying attention to 100 breaths, we also spend all of that time not paying attention to stressful things. We spend our time not paying attention to habitual thinking that is usually stressful, fearful, and we detach from feeding those ideas as well. And as we start to feel better, we start to recognize, wow, all those toxic things, they never happened anyway. All those fears never happened anyway. I never had that tragedy anyway. Habitual thinking created a fear of something that could possibly go wrong that never went wrong. And so the 100 breaths, when it comes to consciousness, when it comes to creating, the right amount of oxygen that our body truly needs to be able to create a cascade of positive chemicals throughout our body, you just can't lose. So practice the 100 breaths blessing, and with that, love, peace, blessing unto you. Something good is going to happen to you today. Ganothi Seutan. Namaste.